Usap na sina Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte at US President Barack Obama bagamat hindi natuloy ang naunang plano na pagtabihin sila sa gala dinner ng Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit. Mula sa Laos, may report si Rocky Ignacio.
Nagkita at nagkausap na sina Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte at US President Barack Obama sa holding area bago ang gala dinner na handog sa mga bisitang leaders ng pamahalaan ng Laos na ginanap sa National Convention Center. Bagamat hindi magkatabi sa handog na hapunan, nagkaroon naman ng pagkakataon na maayos ang dalawang leader ang umano'y hindi pagkakaunawaan. Katabi ni Pangulong Duterte sina Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev at Indonesian President Joko Widodo.
Sense that all's well that ends well. No, I mean the warm handshake, a good conversation. You know, in diplomacy, you don't usually go to the past and bakit nangyari or blame anyone. It won't be productive, di ba? And the Philippines and US has a long partnership, long relationship. There are bumps along the way. There will be bumps along the way. We do not know who the next US president will be. But it wouldn't hurt to have a popular former president on our side. That's why you could see that there was an effort from both sides to patch this up. But it is in the nature of people from the Foreign Affairs Department and the State Department to be extremely cautious.
Naniniwala rin ang senador na hindi kailangang humingi ng paumanhin ng Pangulo kay President Obama dahil hindi naman anya nangyari na pagsalitaan nito na hindi maganda ang leader ng Amerika sakaling lecturean umano ito kaugnay na extrajudicial killings.
Let me say my understanding. Kaya sinabing regret. Regret means sana hindi mo ginawa. Sorry means you're apologizing. You cannot apologize for something you did not do. People are saying, you apologize dahil minura mo siya, you called him that, etc. He didn't. It was a hypothetical question, but reported by the foreign media as a matter of fact that he called him that. But why do you regret it? Because kung hindi mo sinabi, di walang issue. Di ba? But that's the problem with passionate leaders Di ba? When you're so passionate, tinanong kasi, di ba, na what if diktahan ka ganyan? He's so passionate about being independent, about kahit maliit ang Pilipinas in terms of finances or population, etc. compared to the US. Huwag niyo naman kaming diktahan. But I think, personally, through people I know in the US government, they appreciated the statement that there's a regret. And I think while the diplomats, again, Secretary Yasa has been busy communicating, explaining, nakita na nila yung context.
Sa harap na maanghang na salita ni Pangulong Duterte, bumaksak umano ang stock market. Pero tiwala si Cayetano na mabilis ito makababawi dahil kinikilala ng maraming global leaders ang pamunuang Duterte. Marami na rin anyang imbitasyon sa Pangulo para magsagawa ng state visit.
Time naman tumaas yung stock market, it's because of someone else. And every time na bumaba, it's because of Duterte. You know, so let us say, for the sake of argument, but I'm not admitting it, for the sake of argument, kasi where did they get that report? Was it the? Yeah, but what I meant is, their basis that it's because of Mayor Duterte's statement. Ang nag-withdraw ba kaya bumaba are American firms? Are it Western firms or is it a regional? Secretary Sani Dominguez will be the one in the best place to answer that to you now. I don't know. But assuming that's true in the short term, let me assure you in the mid and long term, our stock market will go up because of 3 reasons. Peace and order is always a concern of businessmen. Stability in policy, yung red tape, changing of policy, and the message of President Duterte that we will not be changing policies, 3 days na lang ang permit, etc., has already got a lot of investors coming to the the Philippines, no? Thirdly, our fundamentals are much better than other countries thanks to many past presidents. To give them credit, even the tax measures that were unpopular of President Arroyo, the perception, the upgrades of President Aquino, but you have to give, you know what people forget? So what date is it today? September 7, 8? 8, no? What people forget, wala pang 70 days si President Duterte.
Hindi rin nakadalo si Pangulong Duterte sa ASEAN-UN Summit. Nagkataon niyang napasabay na ito sa oras ng courtesy call ng Pangulo sa pinuno ng Laos. Nagsama-sama ang global leader sa gala dinner na alay ng pamahalaan ng Laos, kaugnay pa rin ng ASEAN at iba pang kaugnay na pulong sa Vientiane, Laos. Bukod sa ASEAN leaders, kasama na ang mga dialogue partners, kabilang si UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon na nakaharap at nakausap na rin ng Pangulo. Si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte kasama ang iba pang leaders ay suot ang special attire na ipinakalob ng host country para sa espesyal na hapunan. Ipinakita sa okasyon ang mga sayaw at awiting naglalarawan ng mayamang kultura ng Laos habang inawit ang mga kanta sa bawat bansa dahil sayo ang para sa Pilipinas. Inihain sa mga leaders ang New Zealand beef, Mekong perch fillet at mango sorbet bilang dessert. Para sa PTV News, Rocky Ignacio, Vientiane, Laos.
Any questions? I'll give you few for clarification on this statement only. Do not rumble onto politics. It's too far away. Yes, we accommodate the...
Good afternoon, sir. Jerome Morales from Reuters News. Sir, there have been concerns on extrajudicial killing, sir, and you will meet leaders. Any line of communication that we have prepared to address this issue in front of our other foreign leaders?
Extrajudicial killing?
Yes, human rights.
To whom shall I address myself to? And who will be asking the questions? May I know?
Like Obama, sir? Like Obama.
You know, the Philippines is not a vassal state. We have long ceased to be a colony of the United States. Alam mo, marami dyan mga sa kolumnista, they look upon Obama and the United States as if we are the lapdogs of this country. I do not respond to anybody but to the people of the Republic of the Philippines. Wala akong pakialam sa kanya. Who is he? When as a matter of fact, at the turn of the century, before the Americans left the Philippines in the pacification campaign of the Moro in this island, there were about 6 million ang population ng Moro. How many died? 600. If you can answer that question and give the apology, I will answer him. I am not beholden to anybody. May mga kolumnista dyan na wait until he meets. Who is he? No, I am a president of a sovereign state, and we have long ceased to be a colony. I do not have any master except the Filipino people. Nobody but nobody. You must be respectful. Do not just throw away questions and statements. Putang ina, mumurahin kita dyan sa forum na yan. Mga ganunin. Tell that to everybody. Ito mga kolumnista, para ba akong tinatakot? Anak ka na. Umalis kayo dyan sa Pilipinas. Pumunta kayo doon sa Amerika. You write columns, you're the lapdogs of this American. Who is it to confront me? As a matter of fact, he has too many. America has one too many to answer for the misdeeds in this country. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa tayo nakatigil ng apology niyan. That is the reason why Mindanao continues to boil. Sabi mo, that was the last century. Yang wounds na yan from generation to generation. As a matter of fact, we inherited this problem from the United States. Why? Because they invaded this country and made us their subjugated people. Everybody has a terrible record of extrajudicial killing. Why make an issue about fighting crime? Nahingi na niya maubos-ubos yan sa Mexico border niya. Look at the human rights of America along that line. The way how they treat the migrants there. Masyado kayong believe sa Amerika. Bumilib kayo dito sa atin, Amerika. Siya ang mag-explain sa akin kung bakit ganyong extrajudicial killing nila. Can he explain the 600,000 Moro massacred in this island? Do you want to see the pictures? Maybe I'll ask him. I'll make it public. We have a recorded history of that sordid period of our national life. Nobody but nobody can just... Sino ka? Yung mga American Indians mo, sa sino lang, inubos mo eh. Oh, what about the rights of those guys who died in the past? Is it because it's just the past tense, we do not answer for the present tense? You must be kidding. Stop joking yourself. Kayong mga sobra ka-believe diyang, who is you, Obama, to ask me that? I'll tell him, who are you? Tell him that. Telegraph mo ngayon. Hindi ako punta dito na pagkaulila dyan sa mga. We have long been a republic. I do not kneel down before anybody else except the Filipino in Quiapo walking in misery and in extreme poverty and hunger. Hindi kayo maghinto na sa droga. The campaign against drug will continue. Maraming mamatay dyan. Plenty will be killed until the last pusher is out of the streets. Until the drug manufacturer is killed, we will continue, and I will continue, and I don't give a shit about anybody observing my behavior. Siguro na mabilib kayo dyan. Mga kulong nagbasa, Sus Mariosep. Pagkalapdog ng mga pretending to be the conscience of this. Sino ba?
Sir, good
Bilib dyan sa Amerika.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sipain ko pa sa harap mo.
Okay.
Pumunta kayo doon.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Lala Babilonia from PTV4. Sir, what's your plan about the issue, the execution of Mary Jane Veloso in Indonesia?
Hindi kita na.
Sir, what's your plan about the issue or the execution of Mary Jane Veloso in Indonesia? Mary Jane Veloso, sir.
About to be executed?
Yes, sir.
Well, I may just have to ask, we do in the most respectful and in very, very courteous way. And if my pleadings will fall on deaf ears, I am ready to accept it. For the simple reason, I do not doubt the judicial system of Indonesia. I have been there once upon a time, and I was able to observe how it works. Whether or not she is really guilty, she is bound to be culpable liability. So I might just accept the system and plead for mercy. But if President Widodo will deny it, still I would be grateful that she has been treated very well. For after all, we have our laws to follow. And had it been any other or the other way around, I might also be at the receiving end of so many pleas for mercy. And I would never know what or how to react. Yes, Pia. Hindi magiging magpahuli sila. I will change my attire in the airplane. I do not wear a barong sitting down. It's itchy.
Sir, good afternoon. Could we just find out more about your declaration of state of lawlessness and when we can expect parameters or guidelines of the implementation? For example, how long it will take, if there will be any curfews on certain areas. Siguro more specifics on your declaration, or if we can expect a document.
Well, number one is that we should work out a very good example of how it works in other countries and the Philippines and now. But others, we have to ask for their support and maybe their cooperation of working this out. Yan ang parameter. That's the economic side of it. That's yung migration. Kasi bukas na lahat eh. Bukas na lahat because they're separated, especially if we can perfect the free trade agreement between ASEAN. Removing all barriers, tariff and everything, including the migration of workers. Wala mang lawlessness doon, yung lang man sa dito, tayo yan. I will not discuss it with them. I will not discuss it with them. I thought I said, they better talk on the economic side. It's an internal affair which nobody should interfere, including the so-called judicial killing of the drug lords and the apparatus members of the drug syndicates. It will continue. Sabi ko, until such time that I can proclaim to the nation that we are drug-free. If that is my only purpose in this presidency, so be it. If you remove me because of the killings, then it shall be so. Again, I would like to, there are a lot of you, so much about extrajudicial killing, then connect it with Obama. No, I do not want to pick a quarrel with Obama, but certainly I would not appear to be beholden to anybody. I only am answerable again to the Filipino people who elected me as president. Period. Nobody but nobody should interfere. This is an independent country. Nobody has the right to lecture on me. God, do not do it. Gusto mo, the right word, magkababuyan tayo doon. Ginawa mo sa akin yan. I do not accept that proposition that anybody is superior than me. We're supposed to be equal there. My country might be small, hardly keeping up with the economic problems, but I will not allow myself to insultuhin mo yung Pilipino. But there are others whose has the mental capacity of dogs who laugh at the ass of the Americans. Salamat.
Tomorrow you're going to be meeting for the first time with President Duterte, and he's a leader whose war on drugs has led to the death of about 2,400 people in just the last 2 months since he took office. And today he said in a very colorful way that that you better not bring this up, and I'm wondering, are you committed to raising this with President Duterte, and are you concerned that meeting him legitimizes his approach on this issue?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just came out of a long day of meetings, so I just heard about some of this, but I have seen some of those colorful statements in the past, and so clearly he's a colorful guy. And what I've instructed my team to do is to talk to their Philippine counterparts to find out, is this in fact a time where we can have some constructive, productive conversations. Obviously, the Filipino people are some of our closest friends and allies, and the Philippines is a treaty ally of ours. But I always want to make sure that if I'm having a meeting that it's actually productive and we're getting something done. We recognize the significant burden that the drug trade plays not just in the Philippines but around the world, and fighting narco trafficking is tough. But we will always assert the need to have due process and to engage in that fight against drugs in a way that's consistent with basic international norms. And so undoubtedly, if and when we have a meeting, that this is something that's going to be brought up. And my expectation, my hope is that it could be dealt with constructively. But I'll have my team discuss this. I've got a whole bunch of folks that I'm going to be meeting with over the course of the next several days. And as I said, historically, our relationship with the Philippines is one of our most important, and my relationship with the Philippine people has been extraordinarily warm and productive. So I expect that will continue, but I want to make sure that the setting is right and the timing is right for us to have the best conversation possible. Well, as I said, I'm going to just make an assessment. I just got out of these meetings. What is certainly true is that the issues of how we approach fighting crime and drug trafficking is a serious one for all of us, and we've got to do it the right way.
All right. Good evening, everybody. It's nice to see you all. Obviously, this will be one of the briefings that we'll do on the trip. I don't think we have anything at the top, so I think we'll just go straight to your questions for the sake of efficiency. Who wants to get us started? Not everybody at once. Josh, do you want to go first?
Sure. I wanted to ask about the cancellation of the meeting with Duterte. The president said yesterday, this wasn't going to affect our long-term relationship with the Philippines, but how is that the case if the president and the head of this other, our ally, are essentially in a war of words with each other? And the office of the Philippine leader said that the decision to cancel the meeting was mutual. Is that the case, or did the U.S. basically inform them that this was not happening?
Well, look, first of all, the nature of our alliance with the Philippines has been and remains rock solid. We have incredibly close working relationships with the government of the Philippines on issues related to disaster response, maritime security, diplomatic coordination on issues related to the South China Sea, economic, commercial, and people-to-people ties. So I think people should certainly expect that our very close working relationship with the Philippines is going to be enduring. And in fact, we continue to consult closely at a variety of levels. And in fact, I think Chairman Dumford has even been in the Philippines recently, if not today, for a Chiefs of Defense meeting. With respect to the bilateral meeting, I think it was our judgment that given the focus of attention on President Duterte's comments leading into the meetings here, we felt that did not create a constructive environment for a bilateral meeting. All of the attention, frankly, was on those comments, and therefore not on the very substantive agenda that we have with the Philippines. So again, given that focus, we felt that it wasn't the right time to have a bilateral meeting between the two presidents, and that's something that we discussed with officials from the government of the Philippines last night. Again, going forward, I would expect our close cooperation to continue, And, you know, where we also have differences, we'll continue to speak to those. And as President Obama said, for any country in the world, not just the Philippines, we'll certainly support very robust counter-narcotic efforts, but we also want to make sure that they're consistent with the rule of law and due process, and that too will be a message that we continue to carry forward.
Michelle.
The war against drugs, terrorists, crime, and poverty. He also thanked President Obama for the United States' firm support for the Philippines during the G20, where President Obama emphasized the importance for China to abide by its obligations under international law and underscored the United States' unwavering commitment to the security of its treaty allies. Both delegations, however, have agreed that in the light of the issues that still need to be worked on, the bilateral meeting between the two nations will be postponed to a later date. President Duterte explained in the press reports that the President, Obama, would lecture him on extrajudicial killings led to his strong comments, which in turn elicited concern. He regrets that his remarks to the press have caused much controversy. While asserting the intent to chart an independent foreign policy and promote closer ties with all nations, he expressed his deep regret, deep regard, and affinity for President Obama and for the enduring partnership between our nations. The President looks forward to ironing out differences arising out of the national priorities and perceptions and working in mutually responsible ways for both countries. Duterte stressed that in securing and preserving the rights and liberties of our people, it is imperative that the fight against illegal drugs, terrorists, crimes, and poverty must be won in order to preserve the principle and values upon which our democratic way of life is anchored. And thank you. We will now have the presidential spokesperson, Ernie Abella.
This is a personal statement coming from President Rodrigo Duterte. Excuse me? Hey. Stay low. All right. Back brief. Again, let me repeat, this is a statement from the President Rodrigo Duterte. The meeting between the United States and the Philippines has been mutually agreed upon to be moved to a later date. While the immediate cause was my strong comments to certain press questions that elicited concern and distress, we also regret it came across as a personal attack on the U.S. President. Our primary intention is to chart an independent foreign policy while promoting closer ties with all nations, especially the U.S., with which we have had a long-standing partnership. We look forward to ironing out differences arising out of national priorities and perceptions and working in mutually responsible ways for both countries. End of statement. Thank you.
So you see
He certainly says that he regrets what has happened.
We will now have Secretary Jess Dureza to answer questions. Excuse me? Sir?
Yes, go ahead.
We will now have Secretary Jess Dureza to answer questions.
Just limit the questions lang. The statements are very clear. The President's statement has been read accurately.
It was postponed to what date? I mean, how later?
There is no specific date yet on when it will be postponed.
But did we already request for a new bilateral meeting with the U.S.?
There is no such thing yet.
We haven't started the process
The statement is very clear. It's being moved to a later date. So let's wait
In-
when that date
in
will
Laos?
be announced.
In Laos
There's
or?
nothing specific yet. So
Sir, about meeting with Lee?
with the Chinese?
Meeting with the Chinese.
I have no information about that.
Is this an apology?
No, you read the statement and you take it as it is.
Is the U.S. open to meeting the Philippines at a later date?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Sir, how did they convey the cancellation? I mean, how did they send the notice of cancellation?
We don't want to talk about the details here. No? Let's stick first to the statement. It's read in total by our spokesperson, Ernie, and the Philippine government statement has been read also by our press secretary. So let that be. Later on, we'll
mutually agreed.
say again.
The next meeting.
There is no date yet, certain. So
But it
we'll
was a
make the
meet-
announcement at the proper time.
But it was a mutually agreed. Mutually
The
agreed.
statement is very clear.
What are these points to be ironed out?
Would you please first refer to the statement and then at a later time we'll give you some more details.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Salamat, salamat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir,